Okay, so today we're going to be changing the batteries on the SBE-19. For that you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver and a crescent, because sometimes this top here can become quite tight, so it can be quite hard to get off just with your hands. So the first thing we want to do is loosen this top. And if you just incrementally shift it around, until you get to a point where you can start to unscrew it with your hands. There we go. So just quietly unscrew this. So after you've taken the lid off, you just want to cast your eye over these O-rings here, just to make sure they're still in good condition. And there's also an O-ring just sitting in the top here, so just make sure there's no nicks or it isn't damaged, and this one looks okay. The next thing we need to do is we need to take this battery cover off, and so this is where you need the Phillips head screwdriver. So to take it off, because this is actually spring loaded, is you incrementally undo these screws. Or just keeping some pressure on with your hands to make sure that there's not too much strain coming onto those screws. And gradually the top will be coming off. So it's coming loose now. So after you've got it off, you can just lift it off with the screwdriver. And so there we have the batteries and the top of the CTD. So the next thing you want to do is you want to tip these old batteries out. So these are the old batteries, and they can be disposed of in an environmentally friendly manner. Now at the base of this unit here you can see a switch right down the bottom here. That's called the reset switch. So if you happen to put a set of batteries in with one of them in the wrong way, this will cause the CTD to shut down. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to flick that switch over to where it says reset, leave it for approximately 5 minutes or so, and then put it back to its original position. What this does is it turns off the lithium battery inside and allows the CTD firmware to be cleared out. When you flick it back over into the on position, so away from the reset, what it does is it reloads all that firmware back up into the CTD, and it should, in theory, begin to operate again. So what we'll do now is we'll put in a new set of batteries. So what you should be able to do is drop the batteries in with the CTD sitting upright like this. If you do that, you can damage the circuit board that's at the base. So you need to lie the CTD almost on its side and gently ease them in. You just need to make sure that they're going in the right way. So if you just sort of lie it down the side, gently let them drop in like this. So that's the new set of batteries into the CTD. So the next step now is to put the cap back on, the battery cover back on. And so you need to line the screws up, and you'll see here there's a spring on the base of the cover. That needs to go where the negative is pointing up. And you need to, so that's the spring there. So that just sits in there, and you just need to line the screws up with the holes in the CTD. And you just need to put a little bit of pressure on to get the cover to sit down, so you can screw it on. And once again, it's the same, it's the reverse process of taking the cover off. You just need to gently, incrementally do the screws up so it doesn't put too much pressure on one particular side of the cover. And you don't need to do these screws up too tight. They just sort of need to be sort of finger tight like that. If you do them up too tight, what it can do is unscrew the pillars at the base of this and drop a screw into the electronics at the bottom, and that's a little bit less than desirable. So after we've done that, we can now put the cap back on the CTD, and this just needs to be finger tight. You should never tighten it up with a wrench or any tool, just with your hands. And so it just gets a little bit stiff as you start to screw in the O-ring. And that's about as done there. And so that's the batteries on the CTD changed. The next thing we need to do is go and connect it to the CTD computer to make sure that the computer and the CTD are talking to each other and that the batteries have been put in correctly.